Studio. We welcome now Casey Anderson, Executive Director of the Mississippi Foresters Association, and David Livingston, Executive Director of the Mississippi Loggers Association. Casey, David, good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So we were talking earlier, Rhino and I, we've discussed it before. You can't help but miss all the brown pine trees all over the place, and some hardwoods as well. And I've seen some of the ornamental magnolia trees and just other specimens. They took it pretty hard during the drought we had in the really high heat that we had for an extended period of time last year, and now those things are dotting the landscape. We're seeing lots of removal, but still lots are standing. What are we dealing with here? What was the root cause, David, from you guys' perspective?
Essentially what happened is the drought got the trees very stressed from lack of water. And on a pine tree, it's got to have water to be able to produce sap. And sap is the defense mechanism against the beetles.
Okay.
So it was just kind of a chain reaction there. And we've just had an incredible high population of Ips beetles, which is unprecedented. I know in my 30-something year career, I've never seen them like we've got them now. Southern pine beetle, yes, but not Ips.
Okay. So, Casey, what does this mean to the foresters? How is this affecting their crop and just their business?
Well, it really depends on where they're located in the state. We're seeing that anywhere from the southwest part of the state up to the central part was hit pretty hard. And so we are telling those people they need to contact a registered forester. That registered forester can come in and tell them exactly what they need to do, whether they need to cut, whether they need to leave it standing, and then can provide them with ways to maybe recoup some of their cost through cost share programs.
Okay. So are these state programs, federal, or? Federal
programs. There's one that's called the Emergency Forest Restoration Program, or EFRP, and that's administered by the Farm Service Agency. So we have been told that they are going to open up an enrollment period either end of April, beginning of May. So landowners can go into their county Farm Service Agency office, and they can apply for assistance.
So, David, was Mississippi hit harder than the other states? Certainly, this drought extended beyond just the state of Mississippi.
Yes, it extends to the southwest part of the state over into the edge of Louisiana. It had a little bit, but for some reason, we're a whole lot heavier hit than others are. On the western side of Alabama, they had some issues, but I guess we were just in that heavy heat, high wind, no rain, and we had the bugs here to facilitate killing all this timber. So
you mentioned one of the beetles types, I guess, the Ips beetle. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
And that's different than the southern pine beetle?
It is. Traditionally, the Ips beetles, they will attack a tree up in the top of the tree, and the limbs and the needles up in the top of the tree, and it'll kill it from the top down. Usually, you'll see an Ips beetle outbreak, and it'll be 3 to 5 trees. But that's not been the case this year, and here again, we're just dealing with a lot of first times that we've never seen before, but we've never seen a drought like this, and heat and wind like we did this past year.
Yeah, no doubt. So Casey, you talked about bringing in professional foresters to assist the growers, right? In the industry. So is there something preventative they can do if they've had an infestation and they've got some standing pines that the beetles have essentially devoured? They don't want those to spread to the other trees that are living. Is there something they can do to prevent that?
Possibly, and their forester, if they have a forester, if they get in touch with a forester, it's going to depend on the tract of land, essentially. And so a forester can give them that advice as to whether or not they need to cut a buffer around or, give them some other opportunities to protect what's still standing.
I got you. So, David, what about the impact on the loggers? These trees that, let's say, they come in and recommend they cut down lots of these trees, and maybe they didn't have that in their plan. Can the loggers accommodate this additional volume? How's that working out?
It is, and essentially what the problem that we're running into is that it's more dangerous to cut those trees. They're out there with machines that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you risk damage to them cutting those trees with large limbs and stuff falling out. It creates a very, very volatile situation when you're cutting that type of timber. But the main thing is that they have no market for that, so they have to sometimes cut it and just leave it laying there. Once it gets what they call blue stain in it, it is blue streaks through the wood. The sawmills will not purchase it, because it is a grade deficiency and they can't sell it for grade lumber. Some of the paper mills and other places like that, because of the dryness of it or whatever, they are not electing to buy it. So we're trying to get as creative. We've got a few paper mills that are still buying some of it, but we've got so much of it, there's no way in the world we could ever get it moved.
Gotcha. So, Casey, it wasn't too long ago the price of lumber had skyrocketed. There was a huge supply chain problem. Is that kind of leveled out now? Where do we stand?
Yeah, I think it's leveled out a little bit. The market's not great right now, but I think that we're still feeling the effects of COVID. Everyone was buying during the COVID pandemic when everyone was at home and doing projects left and right. And so I think that it created a surplus, and we're kind of feeling those effects currently.
Okay, and much lower interest rates during that time period as well, which stimulated lots of the building. David, the industry, forestry and logging is pretty big in the state of Mississippi. Give us an idea of the scale and scope of that.
Yes, we were actually the number 3 combined industry in the state last year. We're $13.1 billion, I think it is, annually. We provide hundreds of jobs that are directly related, and that doesn't include the ones that are indirectly related. So, our industry is growing. We've gotten an addition of several new mills that have been announced that are coming online. We've got Gloucester Forest Products that's coming real close to being online. We've got Huber Engineered Woods over in Sugar Lock. They're in the starting phases of getting that mill up and running. So, we're a real driving force of the economy in the state of Mississippi, and we've got plenty of trees. We just need some more outlets to try to utilize everything that we had. If we had a good many biofuel plants or biomass plants to use for pellets, it would sure help in this situation, and it would help us in the fact that if we had a lot of these stands thin, they may have not have been affected as bad by the beetles. So
I got you.
It's kind of a cause and effect there. So we need those outlets to be able to properly manage our timber to do what we need to do.
Casey, we chatted offline a bit about legislation your organization was interested in this session. It sounds like both those bills are waiting for the governor to sign. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, so we were following a couple different pieces of legislation this year. One was the biomass bill that would declare biomass in Mississippi as carbon neutral. That one, I believe, already went to the governor. And then we were following with some of our partner organizations the the name of it, the foreign ownership bill. There it was. You probably heard a lot about that one. So we were tracking that one pretty closely, and it looks like that one's made it through as well.
Okay. David, I know anytime we talk, and we've done the show, of course, remote at the big show up in around Starkville there, lots of opportunity in the industry. Before we go, talk about that.
Yes, there's not a sector in this industry that's not looking for good qualified employees. It's not what people think it was 20 years ago. These are high-paying jobs. They're very technical, very skilled jobs. Everything from the operators in the woods to the foresters to the millwrights in the mills to the operators in the mill. It's so much technology in those mills, just like the new mill at Idaho Forest Products down there. It basically operates just like an Amazon warehouse. Once it leaves the sawmill part, it's all automatic.
Wow.
And it's all controlled with AI, and it's amazing to see in our industry how far we've come and how we've utilized that technology. So we need some smart individuals here in the state that are interested in that kind of thing to contact us, either Casey's office or ours, and we can get them lined up and going in the right direction there for sure.
Sounds good. I know the equipment is unbelievably impressive, and it would be kind of fun to operate that stuff. Appreciate it, David, Casey, for coming on, and hopefully we'll get this thing resolved and have a little better summer and won't have that drought again.
I hope not.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're coming right back in the Element Well studio.